Hello, YouTubers and NFL fans everywhere. This is Matt, the NFL Fanatic, giving you my 2022-2023 NFL Wildcard Weekend predictions. Well, after 271 games, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the end of the road. Not quoting the great Boys to Men song, but I guess I am technically, but the title. But yes, we are at the end of the road of the regular season, and through 271 games, here are my final records. So this past week, through the 16 games against the spread, I ended the year being 500, and straight up I went 10-6. That equals 8-8, 500, and 10-6 equals 62.5% straight up. So overall for the year, the 271 game season, I've officially ended the year being 131, 134, and 6 against the spread, and straight up I went 168, 101, and 2 straight up. So that equals up to 49.5% against the spread, and straight up equals 62.4% straight up. So overall, I wanted to get to genuinely 500. That didn't work. I could round up, but being 49.5%, that's one of the, out of the 3 or 4 years I've done against the spread, that's one of my better years in terms of doing picks. So if I was really genuinely betting money, I just would have slightly lost some money, which isn't great because nobody likes losing money, but I'll take the 131, 134, and 6. And there were plenty, excuse me, there were plenty of bad beats that went on that caused me to have the tough break. Case in point, if everybody watched the Jets Dolphins game, I had the Jets plus 3.5. I had them winning it outright, but I had them plus 3.5. They were down 3, did the dumb hook and lateral, and it caused me to lose by a dumb safety, 11-6, and straight up 168, 101, and 2. I always try to keep I always try to keep the losses under the triple digits, but really, again, some tough breaks. Saints Panthers was weird this week. Jets Dolphins, like I just said. I won Texans Colts. That's I guess maybe the one thing I'm happy about. I won Texans Colts, which is fantastic. And that crazy ending. And I do want to say that Lovie Smith, the Texans head coach, and Cliff Kingsbury, as I'm recording this video, have been fired. And as well, Steve Keim, the general manager for the Arizona Cardinals, has decided to step down. So you can add all those names to the rest of the coaching carousel as the offseason officially begins for 18 of the 32 teams. It's Trash Bag Monday, if you will. So let me get right into my picks. So, actually, wait, one more thing. Before I get into my picks, let me give you my updated Super Bowl prediction. So, before the year began, I chose the Buffalo Bills playing the Los Angeles Rams in Arizona for Super Bowl 58, or 57 or 58, for this year's Super Bowl. However, the Rams were knocked out a few weeks ago, so that would not be possible. So I was dead wrong about my Super Bowl prediction before the year began. But for everybody out there, with the 14 teams now being decided, I'm going to do a redo of this and see if I can get it right on the second try. I will say this is like a second attempt here. Get as much money, but you get another chance before the postseason begins. So with that being said, I am going to take in my Super Bowl prediction redo. I am going to take, and look, I am rooting for the Buffalo Bills personally. If the Ravens don't make it, but we won't. But, that's all. Which point I hear in a second. But I am rooting for the Buffalo Bills and watching that kick return on yesterday. That is one of the great, emotional, Hollywood script type moments that you could not believe. And also it was the first time in 3 months and 3 days that the Buffalo Bills had a kickoff return touchdown. Two by Nakeem Hines. Actually, he's the first player since Leon Washington back in 2010 to have 2 kickoff returns or touchdowns in the same game. So, fun little stats there. But with all that being said, and I'm rooting for Buffalo personally if the Ravens do not make it, objectively, I do not have the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl anymore as this year has gone on. So my new Super Bowl prediction, I'm gonna chalk it here, and I don't know. Chalking things is fun, and usually most of the time it never happens in the NFL, but I have the confidence in it. I have the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Philadelphia Eagles in Glendale for Super Bowl 57 or Super Bowl 57 or 58 this year. So that is my redo. And if anybody has any questions or reasons or want to ask why I changed my pick, I will gladly answer them in the comments below. So let me get into my picks now with that new Super Bowl prediction being announced officially on YouTube. All right, so on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, 4:35, the first game on Fox, when the Seattle Seahawks travel to San Francisco, the San Francisco 49ers are 10-point favorites in this game. Give me the San Francisco 49ers here -10, and the San Francisco 49ers straight up. Then on Saturday night, the NBC Peacock game on 8:15 in the bright lights of Florida in the young quarterback gun showdown. The Los Angeles Chargers are going to Jacksonville, take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Los Angeles Chargers are 1.5-point favorites in this game. Give me the Los Angeles Chargers here -1.5, and the Los Angeles Chargers straight up. Then on Sunday for the triple header, first at 1 o'clock on CBS and Paramount Plus, when the Miami Dolphins go back to Buffalo, take on the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are 11-point favorites in this game. Give me Buffalo here -11, and Buffalo straight up. Then the next game on Sunday afternoon, when the New York Giants travel to Minnesota at 4:40 on Fox. The Minnesota Vikings are 3-point favorites in this game. Give me the Minnesota Vikings here to win straight up, but I'm going to take the New York Giants +3. Then the next game on Sunday Night Football, and a rematch that we just saw last week, the Baltimore Ravens are going to go back to Cincinnati to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals are 6.5-point favorites in this game. Give me Cincinnati here -6.5, and Cincinnati straight up. And finally, in the Monday night game, standalone on ESPN and ABC, Monday night at 8:15, for the third time in the last 2 seasons, the Dallas Cowboys are playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And once again, Dallas is going to Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 3-point underdogs in this game. So for my one pure outright upset against the spread and straight up, I'm going to take Tampa Bay here +3 and Tampa Bay straight up. All right, so time for my thoughts on each game. The San Francisco 49ers over the Seattle Seahawks. I am taking San Francisco here based off of a whole body of work from San Francisco. San Francisco's had the best defense pretty much the entire year. Number 1 in points, number 1 in terms of yards. Has held a lot of quarterbacks to under about 200 or, 200 or, I'm sorry, under, 300 or fewer yards overall. Brock Purdy's played incredibly well. 11 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions through his 5 games. He is only the 4th quarterback in NFL history to start his career in the regular season, at least 5-0. George Kittle's played incredibly well. They got Debo back. They're getting their offensive line healthy. I think San Francisco is playing with a swagger. The Raiders game was a bit of an eyesore because I didn't expect Jarrett Stidham to play that well and they get into a shootout. But at the end of the day, the Niners did win. And they are on a 10-game win streak. So they win this game here. It will tie their longest win streak since 1997. I'll have to see what the Niners' history is, but I'll find out here next week if they win to see how far they're off for the longest win streak in franchise history, single and post combined. San Fran here, also they're playing Seattle team. Look, it's a great story. As a big Russell Wilson fan and as someone that was criticizing the Seahawks a lot for trading away Russell Wilson, boy, did the Seahawks look great today by getting Geno Smith, by having Geno Smith have his career renaissance and a career-defining year. He has set the single-season marks for the Seahawks in terms of completion percentage. He led the league in completion percentage this year, which is amazing. Completion percentage, passing yards, and Geno had the 5th highest passer rating overall in the entire league. That was Geno. Kenneth Walker should be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was the best running back out of all the rookies. I think Breece Hall, with his injury, and fun fact, by the way, Breece Hall, even through missing over half the year, still the overall Jets leading rusher this year, which is amazing. But look, this game, San Francisco, Brock Purdy in his second start beat them with 4 days rest. He threw 2 more touchdowns. The last time Seattle went to San Francisco with Trey and Jimmy, they shut them out 20-0. I think the Seahawks, they have, the grit, it's division experience, and Pete Carroll tends to have a good record against the 49ers. But this is always the fun thing about the Niners is that if you get the Niners into the postseason, that's the most dangerous. Because again, to Kyle's fairness, every time he's been able to enter the postseason as the head coach of the Niners, He at least has gotten to the conference championship game. He is 2-0 in this wild card weekend portion, and I think with the Niners roster, with their offensive line is playing as well as they are, with their health getting all around, with Jordan Brooks now not being there due to a torn ACL, I believe the Niners easily get this victory, set themselves up in a very kind of nice spot, getting to play the winner of the either the Vikings or the winner of the game, the highest seed remaining. I think the Niners should feel pretty good about themselves because they have probably the best team outside of the Eagles to at least lock themselves into the NFC Championship game. So I think it's a fun divisional matchup. Every game this week's a rematch. Usually division rivalries, and especially with this one, San Fran has swept them already. I think they get the full clean sweep, regular and post, by beating them by being more physical, more dominant, defense not nearly as good, and Brock Purdy being more effective and consistent than David Blough. Though kudos to David Blough for throwing that huge 78-yard flea flicker to AJ Green. So that's why I like San Francisco here -10 and San Francisco straight up. The next game, the Los Angeles Chargers over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm taking the Los Angeles Chargers here based off of I am going to trust the better quarterback and the better roster. The coaching, I'll fully admit, Doug Peterson can run laps around Brandon Staley. And even though here's the thing, I will say this for everybody, I am going to defend Brandon Staley's decision in playing his starters. Okay? The Chargers need momentum. Look, I've called them the chokers for years. And, this is one of those moments. And, but at the end of the day, they need this momentum. It wasn't great losing to Russell Wilson for only his, fourth win of the year. Yeah, that's not great. Was it bad giving up over 400 yards of offense? The Tavius Murray. I get all the bad stuff about that. But they were in that game. Herbert threw for about 270 and 2 touchdowns. There was a huge fumble that basically turned the momentum of the game. But I just believe in the Chargers' talent and roster more than I do the Jags. The Jags have been a great story. Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Patrick Herbert. This is a great thing for the NFL. 2 young quarterbacks in their rookie deals playing for big extension money or just big future potential because of their matchups coming up the next week, depending on the opponents. I think the Chargers have a better chance in beating every one of those teams compared to the Jags. And also, I just feel like, again, I know the Mike Williams injury is big, but the Jags, I just feel like they were in that game and they were playing Ryan Tannehill. In that moment, Ryan Tannehill could have led the Titans to victory and knocked the Jags out of the playoffs completely. Fortunately, they were playing a University of Tennessee alum, Joshua Dobbs, who looked like an absolute, who got dobbed pretty badly. Dobbs going to dob. With his fumbles and interceptions. They basically cost him 10 points. They got him the win. But I'm taking the Chargers here based off the better quarterback play, the better talent in terms of defensive players. Because I feel like both defenses are about even. And I just feel like, again, the Chargers, they somehow seem to play better on the road because they don't nearly have as much pressure at home. Playing Nick Stadium is the best anyway. So that's why I like the Los Angeles Chargers here. -1 the Los Angeles Chargers straight up. The next game, the Buffalo Bills over the Miami Dolphins. This one, I could argue with Teddy Bridgewater being there. He couldn't play this week because of his hand. And I don't know if Tua would play. And I would say this for anybody. And this might be a hot take. If Tua could genuinely get cleared, and I would consider playing him because the last time they went into Buffalo, right around the holiday, just not even 3 weeks ago, Tua ended up almost beat them. It took there was a back and forth game. They ran it incredibly well, and I think in a way it's Buffalo. Cannot sleep on the Dolphins. Again, if it's Bridgewater or Skylar Thompson, if Bridgewater can't even play, then Skylar Thompson again. All right, that's fair. Even though to be fair, Skylar Thompson did beat Joe Flacco in a game just yesterday. But I am taking the Buffalo Bills here based off the fact of the history of Miami going to Buffalo. Tua probably not being there. Raheem Mostert also he's broken his thumb, so he'll probably be doubtful for this week. So you're going to have Jeff Wilson as your primary running back. He's going to get stifled by the Bills defense, and I just trust that the Bills offense, with how bad Miami's run defense has been and how shaky their secondary can be at times against the Bills, I do think the Bills get their revenge and win the season series against the Dolphins 2-1 in a thrilling game of Tua plays, a stinker, probably the worst game of the whole weekend if Skylar Thompson plays. No, I will make this point. If Teddy Bridgewater or Tua are active for this game, if it's Skylar Thompson, I'm going to stick with Buffalo minus 11. If Teddy or Tua are playing, I'm going to switch my pick against the spread only from Miami or Buffalo minus 11 to Miami plus 11. So I will mention that to everybody out there for that notice if Tua gets cleared or Bridgewater gets cleared as well to play and they replace Skylar Thompson. So that's why I like Buffalo minus 11 and Buffalo straight up. The next game, the Minnesota Vikings over the New York Giants. I'm going to trust that the Giants and Vikings have been the one-score kings of the whole year. They even were able to make a one-score game with the third-string team just last night against the Eagles, who were playing most of their starters to get the number one seed. And again, the Vikings are 11-0 this year in one-score games. They are 2-3. 2-4 in the rest of the other games. So I do think this game will be a one-score game, and I know that the Giants were going to be frustrated because they played a really good second half in that first game a couple weeks ago. That got them in the spot to be tied before Greg Joseph kicked them with a 61-yard field goal. But in this game, when you have two equal teams, just about, I know the Vikings have more offensive talent, but the Giants, I think, equal out that with their defensive talent on the other side. Give me the better coach, give me the better quarterback, and give me the home field advantage. And all those, to me, lean towards Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings to win this game. I'm going to take the Giants +3 just to be safe, because that's how weird these two teams have been in one-score games all year. So I could see this, winning off a field goal, getting it a half point as a victory. But again, I'm going to hedge my bet here with this one just because I feel like with the Giants and Vikings, I think the better team's at home. I think the better team is the better quarterback. And I can't see Kirk Cousins getting outplayed by Daniel Jones in a playoff game. At least Kirk has the experience in the playoff games. I don't know how Daniel Jones and that Giants offense will do, or most of that Giants offense will do in the playoffs since most of them have not been there. So that's why I like the Minnesota Vikings here straight up, the New York Giants +3. The next game, the Cincinnati Bengals over the Baltimore Ravens. This game right here, look, it's the Ravens. We made the playoffs, woo, but we're playing the Bengals. We just got our tail ends kicked by them now. I know Lamar, I know Andrews, I know all the offensive talent that is coming back should help us offensively, but I just don't know with Greg Roman and that offense, with the way they run, the way the Bengals defense has been playing, I just can't see the Ravens pulling out this victory in Cincinnati in a really tough spot. I think Joe Burrow has played incredibly well. Chase has played really well. The Bengals defense has hit a stride. They tied their franchise record for the most wins in a single season. They went 12-4 this year. Back-to-back division cramps. First time in Bengals history they've been able to do that. But it's also just, when you look at these games, Burrow and Jackson, it's unique because, one is about 3 or 4 years older and has his, third year, where Lamar is entering 26, entering his fifth year. As many games as being able to play. But in this spot, I'm taking Cincinnati based off the healthier roster, the better aspect of a running game, the better offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator combination, the better offensive coordinator, and I just can't trust Harbaugh in these big spots. After just seeing his team play most of these guys last week, I don't think adding Lamar or all the other people on defense that we made inactive, I don't think it would make that much of a difference. I could be wrong, and maybe we pull off a big upset here, knocking the Bengals out of back-to-back AFC Championship game or AFC Championship victories appearances. But I will take the Bengals here, home team, better momentum, better roster, and I just can't trust Lamar's health enough to think that he can win this game fully healthy or not. So that's like Cincinnati here -6.5. It's Cincinnati straight up. And finally, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Dallas Cowboys. I thought that I was going to take the Dallas Cowboys here most of the year. That's how bad I thought Tampa was playing. But after what I saw from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against against the Dallas Cowboys against the Commanders, that just brought so much pause for me that it came down to basically saying, this is Tom Brady. This is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brady had his first ever loss to the Falcons and his first ever losing season. But he is in the dance in the postseason. Once again, he has the most postseason victories. And it's just one of those things where, what do you believe in more? Do you believe that Tom Brady will come through at the end? Or do you believe the Dallas Cowboys will choke another horrible playoff game? At the end of the day, I believe that the Dallas Cowboys will choke a far more frustrating playoff game for the Bucks. That gets won based off a really rough decision by the end. And also, fun fact, by the way, Dak Prescott's played 12 games, or he's played 12 games this year. He missed 5. He's led the league in interceptions since then, or he led the league for the regular season with 15 interceptions, tied with Davis Mills for that distinction. So, and again, could Dallas win? They have the better defensive line. They have the better running game. They have about equally competent wide receivers. I just think it comes down to the quarterback and the defense, and I trust the Bucs defense enough to limit the run and take out CeeDee Lamb, making Dak have to throw to Schultz and Noah Brown, which he seems to have a very weird chemistry with. Also, Dak Prescott in 3 of the last 4 games has thrown a pick-6 interception. So, in this spot, I'm going to trust that Tom Brady, for the final time on ESPN, gets another playoff victory by making a few more key plays and the Cowboys making 1 or 2 extra bad decisions that help that, to me, help the Cowboys win this, or Cowboys in this game. So, again, this is going to be a great game, So, to me, Cowboys, Buccaneers, what a moment. I think Tampa wins just because at the end of the day, no matter how bad Tampa's run game's been, no matter how bad Brady's been, after what you see out of the Cowboys, trusting Brady TB I feel more confident in than going against the Dallas Cowboys in this spot on Monday night. So, that's why I like Tampa Bay here +3 and Tampa Bay straight up. But that is it. So those are my picks for this week. Like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Please check out the NFL YouTube Prognosticators page to see other people like Half Moon's picks, Bridgewater's Finest, Blind Canadian Cat. I've also put things in my channel such as the Raiders Report, Philly Takeoff RB, the Blind Canadian Cat, all sports fan entertainment. If you like sports or love football like I do, please check out their channels and check out every Prognosticators page, Fire and Brim Sports. Please check out their pages to see what, see your thoughts, see different thoughts about this week's games. And that is it. So until next week, where I give my divisional round predictions, and once again, my updated Super Bowl prediction, it's Chiefs and Eagles in Glendale. But until next week, this is Matthew Fanatic signing off. Until next time, everybody, so long.